What's good? What's good? What's good? We are live. We are live.
Live, live,
We are. We are
live,
live.
live, live. Y'all start
Heck
saying too.
yeah. Well, y'all know I like to just get right into it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate all the beautiful individuals that has joined us on this session on this day. Thank you for coming to KSheaO's channeling sessions. It's more than just a channel. It is where we can hold the space to vibrate higher together, to hold those beautiful frequencies that we can resonate with amongst each other through conversations and discussions that can definitely impact our lives. Thank you to come into Catalyst Conversations. I truly appreciate this fat platform and I truly appreciate you being here because without you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do best, you know? So, to all the newcomers, I appreciate you. I thank you. This is going to be an amazing space if you dedicate just a moment of your time on a day-to-day basis, because I'll be sure to provide the content. But the only way that you're going to know that the content is coming is if you touch that like, you share, you touch that subscribe, and you hit that notification bell so you can be aware of all the forthcoming content that will be in the play, in the mix, coming to theaters near you. So we are going to endeavor into the topic of financial management with being your own accountant and having financial accountability. This topic really is something that I feel all people, no matter if you are an expert in your finances or you need to budget more or you have some debt that you would like to eradicate, it's still finances touch all bodies of people, all plethoras of people. It's no need in you living paycheck to paycheck if you have the ability and the means to properly plan your finances, um before we get into the thick of it, I have some things I got to do. So let me let y'all know about this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman that's in front of your screen that's sharing the space with me today. This is my sister, okay? We have grown up together. All right. This is like my right hand. Any intellectual conversation that we just feel like we want to endeavor in, we will wake each other up 2 in the morning and just be talking for hours. Like it's been like that since we were little girls. Her financial management skills are are mastered. That's the best way that I can put it. She can tell you what you need to move into this Roth IRA, to what you need to go ahead and put into this stock market, because she see that the increments are steady increasing with this particular stock. She can tell you, hey, you need to go ahead and budget your money for the rest of 2023 because they're talking about a recession maybe coming online. So let me let you know how to do it. She done told me, hey, I'm doing your taxes and let me do your bookkeeping. And how about you download QuickBooks and tag me into it so that I can manage your finances and see what you're doing. Hey, are you logging your gas mileage? I'm telling you, she's on point. Y'all think I'm playing. I'm really, hey, this is really how it really goes down. This is how our conversations really go. And I am so grateful for her being in my life. It's not just the financial management side, because this is her career path, which she will let you know more about momentarily, but it's the type of individual that she is. I'm gonna let you know that the type of goddess that she is, the type of mother that she is, the type of daughter that she is, the type of just woman that she embodies on a day-to-day basis. She's a hard worker. She's a methodical thinker. She's just an amazing person to be around. And I always love being in the midst of her energy and her frequencies because she's just such a beautiful, beautiful soul inside and out. So I would love to introduce to you guys my sister, LéKya Washington. Okay, plays no games.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Um, I'm not really the one that likes to just go on and just say, "Oh, all these things about me." But one thing I want everyone to know about me first off is that I'm normal. I'm nothing special. I
Yes, you
didn't do anything. I haven't done anything great
yes.
on a large scale, but what I do is important. I reach people individually. I take time out my day and I pull people to the side. Um, I'm kind of like Google in terms of certain things, especially finances. People, it's a lot easier for people to call me and reach out to me than go to Google because there's a lot of misinformation. But just who I am as a person, I am right now. I'm a finance manager. My official title is assistant controller. I'm an accountant, and I also have my own tax business. I been doing taxes for about 13 years now, and I focus on small businesses, but I do have some individual clients. And my goal isn't to um, not to really monetize this business, but to teach, because a lot of my clients are in our community, is to teach our community and make sure that the people in our community are getting the right information. Because I've noticed that it's not shared or it's not talked amongst in group conversations. When you go to like in a family event or go to just hang out, nobody ever talks about finances. Nobody ever talks about taxes or money. We can talk about everything under the sun in our community, but we never talk finances. I can't speak to other communities, but I know in mine, I still never seen it. And when you bring it up, it's kind of uncomfortable because people just really don't know because it's not taught. It's not taught at home. It is not taught in school. And a lot of adults don't really know what to do until they hit a roll or they have a problem. And now they're trying to dig themselves out of a hole. But if they had all the information in the beginning, they wouldn't be in this hole. So
Mm.
that's a little bit about me and what I do and why I'm in business and a little bit of my background.
That's real. A lot of individuals in our community, they suffer from like a financial deficit, so it's compromising their financial health, you
Mhm.
know, to where they kind of feel like they're immobile, to where they can't do the things that they desire. And I know at times that can be stifling, especially in conjunction with all the things that's being faced in today's society.
Yes. And
So
also, I want
mm,
to add that the momentum has changed. In my
absolutely.
mother's day, it was save, save, save. You save every dollar. That's kind of not how you can't survive by saving because the dollar has no value by saving it.
Hmm.
Yes, it's important to have a nest egg. Yes, it's important to have your 6 months, your 9 months. But if after that, everything should be invested, all of it. Um, that's all I really wanted to say about that.
So, with that being said, how about, because just like you said, a lot of people they traditionalize the ideals of saving, especially what has been passed down to us, from
Yeah.
generation to generation. Is make sure that you're saving for a rainy day. That's usually the mantra that is, bestowed upon us from a young age up until now. So, to allow some individuals to get more of a comparison and contrast, why do you feel like saving versus investing are two different pots, and why investing seems to be um a lot more to the point to where you'll get a return of your investment opposed to just stay saving, to where your money and your currency is kind of like stagnant? Can you talk to me a little more about that?
Well, first off, I want to say this is classes because until you get into position to save or to invest, you just really want to apply to you. A lot of people, especially in inflation, they're living paycheck to paycheck. So me saying, "Oh, you should save, you should invest," that's really, this is for those that are there and are ready, or you plan on getting there. Let's start off by saying that first, because I remember it was a time where I couldn't plan or I couldn't invest, I couldn't save because of my income levels. But why saving is versus investing? So on a savings account, especially when we're in a great economy, the interest rate on a savings account was like maybe 0.02%, on your money. versus when we're also in a great economy, when we're investing, like real estate could be up to 15% return. The stock market is a 7% return. So why would I put my money in something where I'm making 0.02 versus where I can put my money somewhere, the same money, and make 7%, 15%, 20%? That's why um, investing is more important than saving in a great or upward mobility or mobile economy. If it's stagnant, if it's like a recession like we're going through now where we don't really know what's unknown, it's okay to pad your savings just a little bit more. But I will say for me, this is what I've been waiting for. The market has completely crashed. This is when you buy. You don't really want to buy everything up at a premium. You want to buy it at a discount. So right now, while we're in this, I'm calling it recession, but I haven't checked the GDP. While we're in this period of inflation, you know, um, it's just best that you put a little bit in savings just in case, but you still invest. You buy AI. Oh, sound. I don't know. I don't know what happened to the sound. Can you hear me now? I don't know what happened to the sound. Uh, can you hear me? Okay.
Now you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
There we go. All right, a lot
Okay.
better. Yeah.
Oh, so what I was saying is like right now, while the market has tanked and everything is at a discount, it's best that we start thinking about future investments like AI. AI, Chat GBT is the new thing, but all the people that has a hold on AI are already powerhouses like Microsoft and Intel and Nvidia. So what you should be looking for is that new breakthrough company that's coming out with the best AI, and the only way to find that stuff is to read. It's not going to be on Facebook. It's not going to be on the news. It's going to be buried somewhere in somebody's news article.
Okay.
And so that's my advice on that.
All right. So, just a breakdown of investments, especially into like the stock market and crypto. A lot of
Mhm.
individuals feel like it's risky, so they are scared or very doubtful of investing into stock markets and things of that nature because at any time, inevitably, you don't know what could occur. But how can you better inform individuals about investing into the stock market so that they can understand more about studying the trends, studying the charts, seeing the latest articles coming out, how certain types of investments correlate with certain things that are happening in the world. So when you pay attention to like whatever war is taking place or whatever has occurred, how can they make that correlation so they can get that warm and fuzzy about the investment so they can better educate themselves.
As an early investor, the first thing to do is not walk in fear. I know a lot of people who invest in the lottery and they spend $40, $50 a day playing lottery tickets, and there's no way, no guarantee they're actually going to hit that number.
The
But
risk
they
and
keep,
reward is a lot higher in the lottery.
yes, but
Yeah.
it is you got to just think about it. Where, I know someone who might spend 10,000, but they hit 5,000 once, but they so you know overwhelmed by that one hit of 5,000 that they're really spending 10,000. Um, what I would tell a beginner investor is get an app like Robinhood or get something like Stash, where AI does the investing for you. AI invests way better than any human. So you can go there, you can give them $5 a week, $5 a month, just really small investments. And you can say, have AI place my investments, and AI will figure it all out for you. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like back in the day where we had to go find a broker or go to a bank. Everything is in the palm of our hands now. So $5 a day, $5 a week, a month, whatever you feel comfortable with, and just get an app and just small investments and let the AI do it. Like, so I have my AI investments, and then I have the ones that I play with, my gambling, because I don't play the lottery. And
Right.
my AI is kicking my butt.
That's crazy.
And so it updates. They'll give you a list of stocks or things that you give them the money, they invest it and sort it where they want to, and then every 3 months they kind of evaluate where the market is going, how your investments are doing, and then they recalibrate and shift your money.
Mhm.
So, and that's like very, very, very low risk. Um, right now, like I said, we're in the bear market, and we just came out of a bull, like with the stimulus package and all that. That really threw us into a bull market, and so now we're in the bear market. Stocks are cheap. Everything is cheap. This is the time to buy, and you'll look up in 10 years. But it's not like the lottery. You can play today, you can win today, but the stock market, you play the long haul, and the longer you play, the better you get at it. And then one day you could win. You couldn't win very well.
Correct.
So,
That is true. So a lot of people, I just based off of chatter, they are afraid to invest, but then they're afraid of the things that they don't know. So AI don't have like a historical database that you can go back off of and say, oh, this is how the trends went from this tech time frame. This
mhm,
is how this is what the previous projections were. So let's try to, see the ebb and the flow and see,
mhm,
what the chances of the success rate of this particular, AI stock or whatsoever may be the case. Like they
yeah.
don't have that historical data. So what can they research when they do tap into AI? Because that is what is robustly forthcoming, what I'm saying, to us right now. I can't even say future. Like we're just in the AI movement as we speak. We in the, probably you want to call it, infancy stage, but
Yes,
it's very much real.
exactly.
So with
AI
that being
is going to
said,
be huge. Yeah.
exactly. So instead of having that fear, like you said, you have to remove the fear.
Mhm.
What can we study? I know you stated stash and you stated Robinhood for us to be able to make the investments, but what is the complementing sources that we could
Uh,
review so that we can grasp that knowledge, because sometimes
um,
Robinhood, they have little articles and stuff like that, but
yes.
Yahoo Finance, is that a good place?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yahoo Finance. Subscribe to Yahoo Finance and get the dings,
Okay.
and watch the articles, and then watch the market the next day,
Okay.
or even a couple hours after Yahoo Finance. If you want to get to that, anybody that wants to start doing the research, that's like a totally different level. I wouldn't rely on just Yahoo articles. I would have to go to the company's website, pull their annual statements, look at the profit or loss, look at the balance sheet, look what they're spending their money on, look at their plan, look at, the MMA at the bottom of the financials, discuss
What's the
what's the
MMA?
plan.
What's MMA?
It's like management analysis.
Okay. Okay.
And so it's just like, so they present financials, which is like the numbers. And then at
Hmm.
the bottom of a financial statement, they kind of go through their thoughts, theories, what they think is happening, where we're going. If they spent too much, or they have a really big R&D, research and development, they're going to, dig into those things. If they had like a hurricane hit a building or something, they're going to have all that in the at the bottom of the financials. So you want to just kind of, I would personally read the company's financials, just that's because I have the background in it. But my first step will be Yahoo News, see what's going on, and if you're interested in the company, go look at their financials. And I'm pretty sure there's some channels and stuff on YouTube that will tell you how to read a balance sheet and how to read a profit and loss. I know a lot of businesses only focus on the profit or loss, but that balance sheet is really, 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 really important. That's your goal. That's your liquid. Your profit and loss only really is showing what we just did for this short amount of time. That
Okay.
balance sheet shows all activity up until that date.
Hmm.
So, but if anybody wants more advanced notes on how to invest, then I'm willing to take the time and talk to you about what to do. But for the most part, just if you're new, for beginners, just stick to Stash and Robinhood, stick to the AI companies, and let the computer tell you where to invest. Because
Okay.
it's a lot. It's a full-time job. Those guys, those hedge fund managers make billions of dollars. It's not simple.
Correct. Correct.
But you can, if you would subscribe to Yahoo News and you are an investor of Tesla, right? You would start getting, you could start seeing the articles. Something can happen, like God forbid something happened to like the CEO or whatever, you will see that. Know that the stock market is going to plummet. So if you see that article, it's time to pull your money. Or
Right.
you see they had the best fourth quarter of all time, then you know, oh, maybe I just want to put a little bit more money in because now they might go up tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Um, so those are like the type of things I'll look for. Look for like business articles. No stock, no article. If it says invest in this, don't trust it. If it says this is the next big thing, don't trust it. You have to just look and see what they say, and then you have to make the decision whether or not they look like they're doing good, or they might not be doing so well. And then they also have trend charts and all of that stuff you can follow.
Absolutely. So, also with that being said, it's like when you do talk to like a financial investor, always keep in mind there's no guarantees. Always keep
Yeah.
that in mind because
And
it's
if
no.
you are, and
Mhm.
another thing, I think I told you this years ago, and if you are going to get a financial investor, get a fiduciary, okay?
Mhm.
Because they are not paid based off commission. Some people will sell you bad stocks because it pays high in commission.
Mhm.
And so they don't care. So if you get a fiduciary, they're legally obligated to give you the best investment, and they grow not on commission but based off your investment. So I will always tell anybody, always get a fiduciary. If you don't know what that is, go ahead and Google it. It'll explain to you what that,
See, that's your first
the
homework.
difference. Go to Google.
Google fiduciary.
Google. Please Google
Yes.
everything. It's
Mhm.
and then find the adverse and then find the positive and then come to your own personal conclusion. You know,
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
Google will tell you whatever you want to know.
Whatever you want to know. That is
Whatever
so.
you want to know, whether if you think purple's an ugly color, is 15 articles about that. If you think purple's a beautiful color, is 15 articles about that. So just know when you go to Google, search around and don't just go to the first link or not even what Google says. Do some research. Go past all the ads. Go kind of maybe to the second page and start, reading and taking the time to look into those things. I mean, this is your money.
Yeah.
Um, that should never be treated lightly.
Right. That's very true. I agree. So, if you guys have any, questions about your finances or about investing or about accounting or about bookkeeping, you make sure that you contact this woman, okay? She will get you together real quick, and I will drop all of her information in the description box so you guys can get it and get in contact with her and find out whatever you need that is tailor fitted to you achieving the most optimum financial health, period. You know what I mean? So for those, so for those who do like saving and they still a little scared, because we can have this conversation and say, hey, you can study, how the ebb and the flow of the trends all day, and then you can tell them like, hey, you are a financial guru, you can talk to her and she can help you, but they will still be timid if they still on the route of saving. What can they utilize on their savings route that can maximize the return of investment on their money that they're saving?
Um, Depend on their so most people have a 401k through their employer. So like I said, this is classes. Depending on your income, um, get a personal IRA. If you're afraid, if you like your 401k, if you save everything in your 401k, get a personal 401k, for your other savings account. So instead of just sitting in uh, a 0.02% account, you can at least put it in the 401k. It's still in the market. It's still low maintenance, but it's still making money. So,
Okay.
you can just take it out of just take it out your regular savings and just put it in some type of market account. I'm not a big fan of CDs. Only because the interest rates is low, so you're gonna hold my money for 3 years and I'm gonna give me 3%. Like I could have bought a house and flipped that in 3 years,
Correct.
several
Correct.
houses and double. So, but just get a personal IRA or a personal Roth account.
Okay.
That's what I would suggest. If you're afraid of saving that way, you trust your 401k, so it's the same thing. It's just that your employer is not paying for it. You are.
Okay. So that's some good gouge. I want to tap into depreciating assets and appreciating assets and the difference between the two and what is considered appreciating and what is considered depreciating.
Okay, so appreciating me, it grows in value over time. Um, and like land never depreciates. I mean, just, it shouldn't because it's land. It's there. It's always going to have value. Um, Things that do depreciate your car. You know, you buy your car, it's 50,000. Drive off the lot, it's 40,000. Put 10,000 miles on it, it's 30,000. You know, so as time goes on, it loses value. So what you pay for it, so you pay 50. Okay, it's 2 years. I don't want this asset anymore. When I go to sell it, it's only worth 20. So I'm only getting 20 back. I just took a $30,000 loss. Versus where everybody knows you buy a house for 100,000, you hold it for a couple years, you sell it for 200,000. You just made $100,000, not lost 100,000. So that's like easy appreciating and depreciating assets. Um, I'm trying to think of everyday things. Um, just about everything is depreciating asset. You know, outside of real estate, investments, and yourself. Investing in yourself. That is the key. The key. That is an appreciating asset. Is taking the time to learn you and to learn how to maximize you. Um, Not based off what everybody else's standard is, but based off this you, what you like, what you want to do, what brings you peace, what helps you sleep better at night.
So you see that tie-in is so eloquently put. You have to invest in you first before you can see
Yes,
any investments on the exterior. Period.
absolutely.
Yes, or else you're gonna always feel like you're in this consistent cycle of debt. Period.
Yes,
If you're in debt to yourself, you haven't spent any time with you, you haven't invested in paying yourself attention, then how do you expect that the financial flow of milk and honey is gonna come your way if you're blocked up and you don't even know what's going on with
you
what's
know,
internal, you know?
yeah,
So
you,
it's definitely a balance, a
yeah,
true balance, you know.
it's understanding that okay, I dead scroll for 2 hours a day, as an example. You need to realize that you dead scroll for 2 hours a day. You go on Facebook, TikTok, and you just sit there and you just go, go, go. You have to first come to the realization that you're wasting 2 hours of your day. Yes, you do need downtime, but that downtime can just be meditation. It doesn't have to be feedback from the world.
Correct.
And a lot of people that I come in contact with, I deal with a lot of business owners, and they call me all the time to pay me to do small things. And
Mm.
to them, it's a really big thing. But I'm like, I always encourage you, you could do this yourself, right? You really don't have to pay me to do this. I will walk you through on how to do this. And their response is, nope, I don't want to do it. I just want you to do it. And I say, well, if I do everything as your accountant, what are you going to learn? And how can you ever check me? How can
Correct.
you ever say what I'm doing is right or wrong if you don't have that knowledge? Like, my advice to anyone who has a business, no accounting. I mean, just the basics. The accountants have access to your bank account information, your social security number. They know how much money is coming and going. And they have since they create the books, they can manipulate the books. So you need to be very, very aware of what your finances are. First thing I learned in business school was that 90% of businesses fail because of finances. Period. You cannot go to any corporation, any major business, and there is not an accountant. I always tell people first learn your business, get QuickBooks and just watch the inflows and outflows of your money. And when you're ready to move on or up to an accountant, you don't get Steve Harvey,
Right.
you know,
Right.
you know, because he just said, huh, you do it. You
Right.
do it. I'm over here making money. You do it. But I think people really need to pay attention to their finances. And I think it's before, if you don't have a business, start with Mint. Mint allows you to take all your bank accounts and put them in one place. And it shows you can create a budget. It shows you how much you're spending. It shows you where it's going. And then you can kind of like make an analysis like, oh, shoot, I spent $400 on fast food last month. As you're spending that $15, $20 every other day, it's not adding up. But when you look at it, like, I really don't need to spend 400. That's groceries,
Correct.
you know. So
Right.
for the individual, I suggest you get an app like Mint to follow your daily stuff. And for a business, I highly suggest, if not QuickBooks, I think there's another one like Wave, Sage. There's a lot of different programs that allow you to keep track of your finances. And if you're starting a business and you're thinking about it, the first thing you should be thinking about is finances. Not, oh, how much money I'm gonna make. It's how much is this going to cost me? I know a lot of people that sell products that have not did the homework to figure out how much that product costs. I think we talked about this maybe a year ago. I was like, I need you to add up how much the paint costs. I need you to add up all of that and then divide that by the price that you intend to sell. And then you got to also add in your hours, your
Yeah.
worth,
The work.
your
Mhm.
worth to it. And
Mhm.
a lot of people and a lot of my clients, I find that in the beginning, they're always underselling themselves. They're too busy trying to keep a low price point to get a clientele. But if you have to drown to get business, then you shouldn't be in business.
Right.
That might not be the business for you,
Right. Absolutely.
especially if it's like a high inventory business, like a decorating company, parties, party people who throw parties. They have to buy a lot of inventory for parties. People who do t-shirts and that cricket stuff and all that custom stuff, got to buy a lot of, inventory for that stuff. And you might buy so much and then the clientele might not need you. I know a lot of people got swallowed by COVID. They got this money. Everybody had these big orders, wanted all these big things because they had this extra money. And then when inflation came, people didn't want, $2,000 baby showers, $2,000 proms, $2,000 birthday parties on a consistent basis. And they
Yeah.
had all this inventory and they just got swallowed and they just pretty much had to go out of business in the last year.
Mhm. Mhm.
Not not because of COVID, but because of the post COVID. They didn't go out of business because COVID shut them down. They went out of business because people ran out of money. They started a business during COVID and within a year they were out of business.
Yeah, that's true. And in a lot of those businesses, you can't really say that it's poor financial planning, because for that time period, that income was pretty consistent, you know,
Hmm.
and they probably never experienced that type of, income of flow prior to COVID. So then when post COVID came and then the inflation start to, creep into people's households, and then they start seeing like this decline, like almost instantaneously, a lot of businesses froze and they had to close,
Yes.
so it's not just I want to reiterate that it's not just poor financial
I
management.
want
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
not poor financial planning. It's because the thing is what an accountant provides is I'm the one that has to think about those things. Like right now I work for a company and they have multi-million dollar company and we have just was going over our budget today. And we were looking at it and I was like, all right, this is the good scenario. This is if everything goes to plan. Now this is if everything doesn't. You
Mhm.
know, and that's why and a business owner has so many things to do. They see all of this, but the accountant should be the one looking at the market and seeing what's going on and being able to advise that person like, hey, because they was talking about inflation ever since they said the money was going to come out. We all knew this was going to happen if you was paying attention to that.
Right.
Um so that's why you have to have some type of financial literacy or have somebody in that's what I mean by poor planning. It's not that you plan poor, it's that you didn't have anybody to plan for you. Because when you're a
Right.
business owner, you just focus on your business. You just
Correct.
focus on your business. And that's why an accountant is so important. Because
Mm-hmm.
that person should be able to come in and say, hey, I see you're doing great, but I've been watching the news and, credit card spending is really getting kind of high. So I think people, savings accounts are starting to drop. I really think people are being affected. You might want to like revamp the way you're doing things. But like I said, a lot of people, they started a business, they was just so gun ho and that they didn't think about what was going to happen. They just knew they were making money at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's very true. So when you go into a business, it's like the adrenaline of you even opening the business is what's getting that momentum to be where it's at, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like you start producing all this product and things of that nature, and then now you figuring out how you need to move it, then you figuring out how you're gonna market, and then you figuring out like, oh, okay, I done pumped all this money into making all this inventory, but where are my customers, where are my clients, what am I going to do, so it's a lot of forecasting that has to be involved, and I know you have
Mhm.
told me that numerous amounts of times. It's not so much about what you can produce, it's more so what can you move and how
Right.
can you move it. Is it going to
Right.
cost you to move it? Because marketing can cost, at, what I'm saying, especially if you're not doing it organically, because if you're doing it organically, then it's time consuming. So do you have the time versus the money in order for you to catapult and launch, your business to where it can be, I'm not even going to say lucrative, but something that can keep you balanced, especially if it's your livelihood, so with starting a business for beginning entrepreneurs, and as far as the finances go, what are the three top things that they should be so cognizant of that can definitely help them build a financial foundation for success for their business?
Oh, three top things are so many. A business plan. Um, when you're coming up with all those ideas, knowing what you're gonna do, why you're gonna do it, the market you're going to be serving, how you're gonna reach that market, the potential profit, the cost is very, very, very important. And those things just need to be thought before buying a cricket machine. Um, I know TikTok and social media is very pushing to tell people get a business, do this. I'm rich doing this. I made money. Go flip real estate. Go do this. And people are like, oh, they're rich. They're successful. They're making posts. Let me follow that. But they're really just probably trying to sell you something.
Right.
That's it.
Very
Like I saw one today. It was like, oh, it's this big tax credit. Click here to find out more. Well, you selling me something. If it was you giving me information, you would just said this is the credit. But
right.
so I think understanding the business plan, and taking it seriously is one thing when you had a hobby and then it monetized into now it's an actual business. Um, a lot of us have had that. We had a hobby, we were just doing something, and now we actually have a business. That's kind of totally different. But if you're like, all right, forget working, this is going to be my way of life, you need to come up with a business plan.
Absolutely.
Number one. Number two, uh, plan. I don't. Everybody has different financial situations, but plan on bad times. I feel like the last 12 months has been an example of us being at a high and us being at a low, in our
Right.
society. Plan for when you come up with the plan, like, yeah, I'm gonna sell 15 units an hour and I'm gonna have all this money. All right, that happens, that's great. And that's what you want to show the bank to get your loans and all of this. But in the back of your mind, you need to be thinking, what if I don't? What am I
Right.
going to do? Can I catapult this into something else?
Right.
How can I swivel what I got here and turn it into something else that uh I can market and make money off of? That would
Absolutely.
be one, two, and then three would be love it. Don't do something you don't love. Life is too short and days are too long to be spending time doing something you hate. Make sure you love it because then you're never going to give it your all. You're never going to, you feel like you're doing it just to make money. And money is important and it's great, but I don't think that's most people's biggest motivator is feeling something, feeling worthy motivates people a lot more than money. So if you're
Hmm.
doing something and you love it, and it's not because everybody else on YouTube or TikTok saying doing it, but it's like, all right, I see that this area, this, place where I'm at, there's something missing and I have a niche for that. And I can come in and I can solve that problem. So you go in and you sell, and you got to be something that you love, and you sell your product or your service based on that little small niche. I'm a tax preparer. It's a billion tax preparers. But what I offer that I notice that other tax preparers, maybe they do, but what I offer is honesty. You can't just call me and say, "Hey, I need as much money as possible." It's like, no, I'm not going to give you as much money as possible. I'm going to give you as much money as legally possible that you qualify for. And I'm going to be like, and it's okay. And I'm going to tell people no. And they like that. They don't want to hear that. But some people, they'll run and be like, I'm going to find somebody else. But some people like to know that the person that they're dealing with is not going to string them along or going to play with them just because they want a buck.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like another thing I offer is you can call me anytime. Call me, of course, don't call me at 12 o'clock at night. I'm gonna be a little mad. But but you can call me anytime and just ask me anything throughout the process. It's not like I do your taxes and I disappear. Majority of my clients I talk to all year long. They just call and ask small questions, 10-second questions. And I'm just there to answer them, just to make them feel comfortable. Never have a nasty attitude. Always understand that everybody is not in the same place. So you got to just talk to people and reach out to them at the level that they're at.
And that's amazing that you are personable with the finances, because finances can be like a real sensitive topic for a lot of people, you know?
Extremely sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was to give anybody any jewels, whoever is doing your taxes, please can look at your tax form. And if you're looking at it and you're like, I don't know what's going on, ask that person what's going on
Mm-hmm.
so they can explain it to you. And if they can't explain to you, run. Run, run, run. Because right now I have a client, and I got permission to say this, that owes the IRS $140,000 because the person who was preparing their taxes prepared it, and they say, yeah, we signed it, but we didn't look at it. We just would have had to submit it. And they destroyed their stuff. The IRS came back, audited them for 5 years, and now they owe $140,000.
Mm.
And they're talking about putting a lien on their property, and they're trying to figure out what to do, all because they didn't read what somebody. They just trusted. Just because a person's a tax preparer does not mean they're an accountant. Does not mean they have a finance background. That mean they figured out how to get your information.
Right.
So just be very, very cautious. Say, hey, after they finish, hey, can you before I pay you, before I give you the money, can you explain what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I getting a refund of this much? What drove this refund? How can I get, a larger refund, or what should I do? Tax planning,
Mm-hmm.
most people can't. Like I have a client that gets a pension payment, and she owes the IRS every year. She's like, I don't know why. Oh, I pay my taxes out my paycheck, but I'm like, well, you got a pension payment that you don't pay any tax on,
Mm-hmm.
so that's causing you to owe, and then you got to pay interest and penalties. So how about you just take a little bit more money out your payroll tax to cover that, pension payment, and that way you ain't got to worry about it.
Right.
It's probably about $25 to $50 a
Mm-hmm.
paycheck. But that way you don't owe the IRS, $2,000 because of $1,000.
Your finances should never be an unknown to you.
Most people, they have no clue what's going on. They don't.
No
They don't
matter,
know.
yeah, they have absolutely no clue. Like,
No clue.
they all this money and they really don't know because they done put the responsibility. I think is, something that is ingrained from when they were younger. Sometimes some parents, I'm not saying mine because that's totally my parents, they always was talking about saving and investing and things
Yeah,
of
they
that.
didn't play that. They didn't play that.
They didn't play. Mom and daddy did not play that one
Yeah.
bit at all. They made sure that I learned
Yeah.
about saving and about the fundamentals of, investing and learning how to manage my money, right? But there are those who hasn't, and this is not to be hypocritical or judging anybody. This is
No.
help you out of whatever you're facing so you don't feel like you're in a financial crisis or financial turmoil. So just taking a step back and understanding what you have in your account versus say your bills, do a balanced worksheet on what you have to put out for bills and what is coming in. That's the start. So you can see what your household, monetary income is looking like, for one, for starters. Then once you know that you have your necessary bills that can be, money can go to that, what do you have left in order for you to get the gas and get the groceries? I'm just breaking it down to where it's like
Right.
basic so people can understand, and then they can get to the point to where they can become their own bank, which is going to be a whole nother, session. But we just going to start from, the
How to
biggest.
do an easy budget, at home budget. You're
Yeah,
going to
exactly.
take if you get paid 4 weeks or bi-weekly or bi-monthly or whatever, you're going to take your paychecks and you're going to put them in one column. So I get paid $1,000. I'm going to put that at the top. That's how much I get paid. That's all I have is $1,000 a month. And then everything that you obligated to pay, is you're obligated, your cell phone bill, your car note, your mortgage, um, uh, I don't know, if you have to pay for private health insurance, everything you have to pay to sustain your way of life, to keep making money, to be able to provide for your kids, you put that next in a group. You would say cell phone, mortgage, rent, light, and then you would take what you make minus the necessities. And, and this is what I call play money. And your play money is you take a piece of that and you put that in your savings or you put that in investment. And if you know you have to buy clothes this week coming up because kids outgrew their clothes, they need new jeans. It's a trip coming up. You got to put a little money to the side. And this is where you take your play money out. You never spend your sustainability money. Never spend your sustain. Always make sure that you have enough money to sustain. That you can create, a stable environment for yourself one day to the next day. And then you only move around your play money. So let's say I have, $1,000. I have $600 in obligations that I have to pay, and I have $400 in play money. I'm going to take $50 out that 400, a small percentage, and I'm going to put that somewhere else. That's me paying myself, right? This is for me. This is for me getting up, making sure I'm going to work. This is going to pay me out in the long run. That's my investment or my savings. Then
Mm-hmm.
that 350, that's the stuff that you need to do, but it's not critical for you to have. Now, if you are to a point where you can have some money lingering over and all of that, that's fine. But a lot of us, we are paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us, and don't think that those who make over a certain dollar amount are not paycheck to paycheck. It's just everybody's lifestyle is, different.
Different.
But with that $350 that you have, that's when you buy shoes, clothes, that's your fast food money. Like that's all you got. You got that 350 to your next paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have the discipline like, all right, I got 350. I know emergencies happen, but that's what that investment slash, savings is for emergencies. You can't just go in and pull the money right out. That should be an account that takes like 3 days for you to get your money back. That'll
Mm-hmm.
prevent you. So if you get like a Marcus Goldman Sachs account, that's a savings account. I don't like savings, but if you put your money in there, if you need it, like it takes kind of 3 days for you to get it. So that way you don't be like out shopping, like, oh, I need some more money. You can just transfer from your savings to your checking. You have to wait 3 days. That kind of reevaluates your spend. You're like, well, I can't wait 3 days, so forget it. I ain't gonna buy it.
Right.
So that's what I suggest. I suggest with, you have your sustainability money, you have your payment to yourself for your future self, because your future self will love you for that payment. And then you have the whatever else you got to do. And, we all got different habits. We all like different things. And if you feel like, 200 of it is Amazon, you got to be like, all right, I can't do Amazon for a couple months until I can get myself back on balance. But that takes, you got to admit that first. You got to, and it's something that you have to look at and reevaluate every 2 to 3 days. You can't just make a budget
Yeah.
and just be like, I made a house budget.
Yeah.
No, like I have my budget in like my OneDrive and I review it every couple of days. I take the bank balance based, and look and see what I got. I'm always checking my play money balance, like how much play money I got left. Because And that's where I start with. I'm like, all right, I pay. Okay, this came out, this came out, this came out. What I got left? All right, I've still got one more bill to pay, but I got this much in the account. Or I got one bill that's $100, but I got 400 in the account. Cool. Still got $300 to play money. But you got to
Exactly.
check that because
Mhm.
I'll look up and I'll be like, wait, I ain't got. I'm missing. Whoa, whoa! I only got $75. This bill coming out
Right.
tomorrow. There's only $75 left.
You can't account for what you spent. You look
Yeah,
up
you
and
can't account for it.
yeah, five
And
hundred
I
dollars.
have that moment, like after some fun time, I don't want to look at the bank. I don't want to look at my transactions because I don't want to be held accountable.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Mm-hmm.
want to put that negative energy on yourself because it's like that's holding yourself accountable. Because, when you hold yourself accountable, sometimes you have to dig into some negative energy because you have to say stop or no. And people try to run from that.
Yeah.
Like you always say, you can't have light without dark. So you have to go put yourself in that negative space and say, what did I do? What did I do wrong? And how can I fix it?
That is the whole purpose of financial accountability for self. Period.
Yes.
Like, with that being said, like, I know it has been times where, yeah, I feel like, oh, let me get this. Oh, I think I need this. Oh, yeah, let me get that too. I have went on, my husband and I, we have went on plenty of financial fastings.
Yes.
So we make sure the weekend we fill up the car, we get all the necessary groceries that is needed, whatever odds and ends that's needed, toiletries for the house, we get all
Hmm.
that. And it's planning and preparation and coordination and attention to detail, like we spoke about earlier this week.
Yeah.
But with you being able to do that, you invoking that mental control and that accountability intentionally for you not to spend for like a week. I'm not about to
Man.
I'm not spending nothing. I got everything that I need. So if it's something in the refrigerator and I done ate already my favorite thing in the first 2 days of this week, baby, I'm gonna make something else work in this refrigerator. Okay, I'm gonna make
Right.
something else work in this cupboard. I'm gonna put it together. Become the alchemist of the kitchen of the household, so you can start to transform exactly what you want to get what you need.
But the only way you can ever do that is if you gain self control.
Absolutely, that's the
You
next
have to
thing.
gain self control. You have to gain self control. You have to have a vision, a positive goal, a positive vision. You have to be working towards something. If your mission is I just want to get a better budget, you're never going to have a better budget because the budget has to come for a reason. It has to be I want a better budget so I can provide a better life for my family. I want a better budget so that I could take a vacation that I've been dreaming to take or have an experience that I've been wanting to have. It has to be something. But just saying, oh, I'm gonna put myself on a budget does nothing. Like it's that groundwork. And if
Right.
you don't really know, go to Google. Google
Hmm.
Google has a lot of like templates. If you are like a computer person or whatever, Excel or something, you can get you an Excel template where you can just type in, your paychecks and type in your expenses. But like I said about that app called Mint, because I know a lot of people are not into putting their bank account information online.
Right.
And I know a lot of people are really hesitant, but I'm gonna tell y'all the truth, it's already there. So you can be hesitant if you want, but it's there, baby. It's nothing. Every bank, every credit union, every credit bureau been hacked into. Your information is out there. You just got to be watching it. But no,
Right.
just me personally, I have what is the February? My budget is laid out for like the next 4 months, like 3 to 4 months. Sometimes I might go to six, but too many things change for six. But at least 3 to 4 months, I know what I'm paying every month, what my guess is. I
Right.
know May I always buy clothes because that's spring is coming. I have to buy a new wardrobe, so I have a budget for that. I know in the summer, like in June, I have to go stock up the freezer for my teen so he can have all the snacks and not DoorDash every day. So I know I need to have like a budget for that. I know um, my son's going out of town. He's going to need some money in his pocket when he go out of town for chess. He made to regionals.
Yeah.
So yes, go Don.
Let's go, Don.
So it's gonna be, I'm like, but I just found out yesterday. That
Hmm.
was not in the budget at
Right.
all. So I went back to my budget this morning and was like, all right, what do I have? All right, this is my play money. Well, I was gonna pay a little bit more on this. I ain't got to pay as much. I can cut some of that down. Put, I catch that back up later. I take some here, take some from here, and now I got the money to send my son to regionals. But it has to be something I say you have to reevaluate it. If I spend something that was not in the budget, I have to go add it. I got to go add it in. I got to know where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
That way you don't give banks free money with overdraft fees. They
Right.
made how many billions last year?
Off of just overdraft fees. But
Overdraft fees.
that okay, that's a point that I want you to drive home, because a lot of people don't understand about overdraft fees and how these banks intentionally have these fees to where, all right, I'm gonna give you an example. You go to pay your bill, right? But the thing is, they not extracting that money from out of your account until 2 or 3 days later. So when right after when you pay your bill, you still see that money into your account, but that doesn't mean that you should spend it. They purposefully, intentfully keep that money into your account, although they're in ownership of those funds. So you thinking you got extra bread in your account, but truth be told, it's already assigned to somebody else because you already signed that off. And you go spending it, and that's what creates that overdraft. And then you're in this overdraft and you wondering, you was like, I paid my bill earlier this week. Why is it an overdraft? Because it's like you double tapped on those funds. You
Yep.
use those funds twice.
Also, no, also they get you. Let's say I buy $1 bread, $1 milk, $1 juice, $400 shoes, right? They switch it to where, but I only got $405, $103 in my account. So they switch it where the $1 stuff doesn't really cause an overdraft fee, but they had laid a transaction out so that I get charged the maximum amount of fees. The program is written this way, and the delay and the reason why you see your money still lingering is because the companies do not talk to the bank. The companies talk to a third party company, World Bank, somebody. They talk to somebody, especially if you're paying through a card. It's talking to like 3 or 4 people
Mm-hmm.
before it even gets. So all when you swipe, all it's saying is, yeah, the money's in the account and the bank gonna let this go through. That's
Right.
all it's saying. It is not saying the money is gone. It is just saying the bank acknowledged this
Have
transaction.
money to afford whatever this is.
Yeah, yeah, you can do it. Like we gonna let this
You
go.
can do it. You can
So
do it. They can do
then it has to travel from the merchant to the third party. They got to get their piece and they got to get their cut, and then they're gonna take that and they're gonna transfer that over to the bank. So that's like the 2 to 3 day delay. It's never from bank to bank. It's always bank, third party, bank or company or whatever. Because I always trying to figure out why is it that when I swipe, you take my money immediately, but it takes 7 days to get a refund. Just makes no sense. That one
it.
plus one plus, it's
Yes.
the travel time. It's
Right.
just travel time.
It
So
stops
you
that.
have to be mindful of that. And I think a lot of people just don't know that. I didn't know it was a third party until I actually started dealing with third party companies. So just didn't know. Or people are like, oh, why are you charging me for it's a credit card fee? Most stores now want to charge you an extra 3-4%. And like, oh, they just trying to get money on me. No. MasterCard, WorldPay, they're eating off these fees. They charge the merchant to use it. So the merchant, if I have $100 transaction, but you use your card, I only got like a $95 transaction. I made 100, but I had to pay them $5 out my money. That $5 add up over 100 transactions, over 1,000 transactions. Or I worked at parking in which our transactions were like $1, $1.25. They want 25 cents. That adds up,
That adds.
period. No matter what, is what the threshold. They want 25 cents per transaction, period. But we only charging $1. So that adds up. So that means we had to start charging $1.25. We're still only charging you $1, but now we just have to pay an additional person.
It's minute to the individualized consumer, but on a
Yeah,
large scale or cumulative, that can add up to like a whole nother pot. Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
A whole nother pot of
yeah.
the source of money, which is very interesting. Um, to just piggyback on some things and reiterate some things, I just want to let people know that you can get in healthy financial standing. You can. This is not
Absolutely.
that. And stop saying I'm broke. Stop that, because words are powerful. Your intentions are powerful. What you think and say, especially to yourself, is powerful. So stop saying that phrase. Like, I feel like I need to detox myself from even saying that just now. Like, I am not that. I will never be that. Like, don't ever intentionally ever tell yourself any type of mantra cater towards you being in a deficit. You don't want to operate in a deficit. You don't want to, it's not comfortable being there. So don't ever say that's what you are. Like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. I am, those two words at the beginning of any statement are so powerful. So it's almost like you invoking these words into you. And don't ever do that. Another tip that I have for you guys,
Sorry,
clean
my
out your
phone is
purse.
dying.
Okay. You get your charger.
Yeah, I was just trying to put a little juice on it. I'm good now.
Okay. The
All right.
second thing is, ladies, clean out your purse. Please. All these old empty dead receipts, that's money that's gone. Think about receipts as money that has been gone. Okay, so when you have all those old accumulated receipts just sitting up in your purse, that's not doing nothing but creating stagnant energies and blockages towards your finances. Man, that goes for your wallet too, or for your pockets, or for your jackets, your coat jacket pockets, or all that. Clean out, clean that out, clean them gum
Clean
wraps
up in
out,
general.
please.
Clean up in general. I
Yes, clean
told my
up.
son, I told my son if he has a test or he has a lot of homework to do, I say clean up your room before you even start studying. You can't study in a mess. You can't be great in a mess. You can't plan in a mess. And I'm not saying you have to be the cleanest person, but cleaning up organizes your thoughts. It just organizes your thoughts. It helps you come to like a all right, this is step A, this is step B. And I know people say, oh, I clean my house every day. Okay, rephrase it. Organize.
Yes,
Don't just clean.
right,
Organize. Compartmentalize. Put stuff where it needs to be. So when you're going on your journey, you're going about your day, you don't have to spend 20 minutes trying to find matching socks.
correct.
Like that whole thing about
Uh,
when people say, oh, I can wash clothes, but I can't fold laundry.
yeah,
uh that's so chaotic. Oh,
yeah.
I get hot. Getting hot thinking about not folding the laundry, like trying to find
That
two
is
socks in the
toxic.
morning. Trying to find two socks in the morning
Right, exactly.
and you late.
Yes,
It's
yes.
just so
I'm telling you.
just those things like it. Just do it while you're watching TV. I never hear people say they don't have time to watch TV. I don't have time to do this. Make your if you want to know like the for me like how I got from one point to another. Because I've gotten kind of successful, I wouldn't say rapidly, but I progressed a lot further than some of my peers. And the things that I noticed about me that stuck out in my peers, because it was a point where I'm a younger mother. I had my first child at 21. I was in college. I've been on welfare. Um, was on welfare for 2 years. Got food stamps. Had a job. Got out of college. Had a job. Didn't really have a lot of money and it was hard at first. But like I said, what I stood out was that I never like settled. Like if I learned something, I expanded it. Sometimes people we get stuck in this way where we just okay, I do this and I'm going to do this and I'm not going to do it any other way because this has created a level of comfort. But the only way to grow is that you really have to grow within yourself.
Mm,
So whatever you're doing, don't never stay stagnant. You never go anywhere. Like the only way to get out of if you're saying you're broke, now honey, I say I'm broke so people won't ask me for money. But so I'm gonna say it. But if you want to stop being broke, you have to really evaluate what you're spending your money on, and how to get out this hole. Like the only way I got out of being broke was getting better jobs. It wasn't nothing else. Like I had to like progress myself so that I can be a higher paying candidate. And at the time when I was doing this, I didn't realize this is what I was doing. I was just going in, learning, absorbing, and moving on. And then I thought back and I look at everybody else that's still there from 10 years ago. And like, wow, I'm here. And I'm like, what's the difference? And now as a manager and I have to manage people, especially people older than me,
Mhm.
they get stagnant. You get comfortable. You're like, all right, I got a good job. I make $25 an hour. Cool. You go to work. You do what you're supposed to do. You do what they say do. You turn in whatever you're supposed to turn in. You do whatever you do, and then you go home and then you do something else.
Mhm.
For me, it was like I go to work and they tell me to do something and I do it and I go, this takes too long. This is stupid. Then I go to Google on how to make something better, faster, easier. So then I take that and I create an efficiency process. And then after that, I don't tell nobody I did this though. I do this in the background. You don't tell nobody that you didn't took a 4 hour job and made it 10 minutes. You don't. Just you take that, extra time and you do other stuff. But see, by doing that, because most people just do the job, they say check here, check here, check here, and they just keep doing the same checks for 20 years. As long as they get in the check, they going
They're gonna
at
keep doing
some point, I'm gonna stop and reevaluate the whole situation and make it work better for me. And by me learning how to make things efficient and improve processes is how I've grown.
it. That's
And
amazing.
that's what makes and that's the leadership. I was not going to wait for a company to say, "Oh, okay, I think you're ready to be a manager." Oh, okay, I think you're ready for a promotion, or I think you're ready to get more money. I had to make myself ready and move on. So the only way to get out of poverty is to improve yourself, make yourself marketable, make yourself um, monetize yourself in a way.
Yeah.
You know, monetize yourself. And, if that's just getting better at your job or understanding your career and your craft, that's great. Or if it's just, working on your health and your mental stability, that's going to help you move forward too, because you get clarity and you can make better decisions. So if you want to know how to get out of poverty, own your craft, master your craft, monetize yourself. That's the only way. Because ain't no employer ever going to get you out of poverty.
Repeat that again.
No employer is ever going to get you out of poverty. You got to get yourself out of poverty.
Okay. All right. I just wanted you to say it again for those in the back who walked in late and didn't hear you. Very important. It's very important. You have to have that discipline to hold yourself to a certain standard to know that you don't want to work backwards or you don't want to work in a deficit, because working in a deficit puts you in survival mode. You always figuring out last minute on how can I do this or how am I going to get this. You don't want to continue to operate like that. How are you going to operate in prosperity and abundance is when you are able to plan forward. And my husband is like a master at it. He can forecast things from, you know what I'm saying, like from a financial standpoint of view that is out of this world. And I appreciate that because I know that wasn't one of my strong suits, you know what I'm saying, back in the day. I was just, going and just doing what I had to do right then and there. And I am blessed that I had the means to be able to operate like right then and there when something occurred. But how could I get better? How can I, be this financial strategist to the point to where I have, all these pots that is allocated to any event, no matter what it is, and
Mhm.
feel comfortable with expending that, you know. But in conjunction with that, my new motto is all money in, no money out. Nipsey said it best. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Learning how I can, you know what I'm saying, create the funds to finance this certain goal or finance what I want without there occurring a deficit at the end or me coming up short or I got to pull some out of here in order to make this work. But actually, forward planning, such as my sis stated, like if you plan, your future self will love you. That that's the best way. I couldn't articulate that any better.
I love
You're
the
gonna
whole
be
thing.
sitting
I thank me all the time.
there,
Oh, I
okay,
did.
you oh
Oh man, thank
you
you.
the goat for this one.
Yeah,
Just
that
telling
was a
yourself
good
that.
choice. And it's
Exactly.
so crazy that when you're doing it, sometimes you don't realize you're doing it.
Yeah. You get
It
it
took.
embedded in your subconscious because you do it so much. And you know what? That's how you build a better relationship with yourself because you start trusting yourself more.
Yes.
Start trusting yourself and knowing like
Oh,
I can plan for the future and my future self would appreciate me for this, and my present self is on point right now because I learned from my past self that I don't want to experience that no more. So let me go ahead
Man,
and make sure that this is rolling like a smooth financial locomotive for me to reach any destination that I want, and it will not be nothing stopping me in my tracks. Period. When you hone in on that ideology for yourself, you can catapult yourself and do whatever you want. You won't feel
look,
stuck stagnant.
I felt like a failure. And because I came out of college on a high, like, oh, I got a degree. I want to go make some money, But we came out during a recession. Like, I'm 20 something years old. I don't understand what that means. And so then I felt like a failure because it was like, oh, I didn't do what I thought I was going to do. But it was the best experience being knocked to the bottom, and having to crawl my way up, and that has taught me how to be very well rounded in my field because I didn't just start at like a medium level and worked up. I started at the bottom. I had to learn every single process because those are the only jobs I qualified for. It was hard to get a job. And for me, some job was better than no job. But those small jobs, those $10, $15 an hour jobs is what really built the person that I am today. And to me, it was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. I used to go to work crying, like, I work at Kmart. I got a degree, I work at Kmart. But I was like, girl, look at you. You would be crying if you still was at Kmart.
Correct.
They're out of business. But, if you still, I'm looking at resumes, I'm trying to hire some people on my team. And I saw this woman's been a clerk for 30 years. I don't want to hire her. Why? Why do you think I don't want to hire her, twin?
Because she's grown comfortable. She's grown comfortable with where she is, and she didn't see any forward growth or forward momentum in herself to do anything else.
Right.
So like she was stuck in this posturepedic paradigm of,
Yeah.
of routine, and that
Yep.
routine for a check on the 1st and the 15th, and she's still okay with that, and she don't see no upward advancement within herself to want to tap into something else.
If you go 5 years with a company, you have not got a promotion or a really hefty wage, or you've been put in a new tax bracket, leave. You can get a little money. They give you your little cost of living, your merit increase. But if they didn't put you in a new tax bracket in 5 years, leave. Get out away from that company because another company is going to pay you 20, 30, 40,000 dollars more for that same stuff that you've given them for your entry rate.
Mm,
See, what happens is you come in and they pay you because you don't, they pay you this little rate because you only have this much experience. And then you gain 5 years. That's a whole lot of experience to have. But they
right.
never catch you up. Why? Because they already got you. But then
If
another company and say, hey, we need somebody with those same 5 years. And we got, 20, 30, $40,000 more for those 5 years. And so you're like, all right, I'm gonna leave and go on. Never walk. I used to be afraid of taking new jobs because what if I might not do well? But so just don't do well.
mhm.
Never be afraid to move on. If you feel like it's some self doubt, what's the self doubt? Is it because you know you always late? Didn't work on not being late? Set 15 alarms before the first alarm. So when that, you wait, clean up your space, organize your space, like find out what's causing this fear. It's not the fear of getting a better job or they might fire you. You have some internal stuff with yourself that you like, "Ugh, I don't know, because I haven't been the best." And fix those things. And then you'll be confident. Like now, ain't no job I can't do.
Whew,
You know, ain't nothing
hello.
I can't do. It's like I'll do it. I'll figure it out. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna research. I'm going to take the extra time, work extra late. I put a lot of energy in the beginning so I can learn. And then after that, if you do it right, it should be so much easier.
And
Like
your
with your
future self
business.
love you,
Like
and you
even if,
love
if
you
yeah, oh my God. Oh my God. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing.
now.
'Cause I used to walk in so much fear. I used to walk in so much the unknown, afraid to take the next step, afraid because I just didn't know, but I had to build that confidence over time in myself. I had to let myself know that I'm not gonna let me down.
Mm.
Like, I'm not gonna let me down. I might let some other folks down. Y'all might be a little disappointed in me, but me, I'm not gonna let me down. And once I decided that, and once I knew that I was not going to let me down, I was unstoppable.
Mm.
And I have grown. Okay, so it's 2023. In 2013, I can say I was making $12 an hour 10 years ago. I don't want to say how much I make, but I don't make $12 an hour anymore. But
Wow.
but I know people who made that same $12 with me probably only make it 15, 20 now. Same people. Same people I worked with. And this was an office job. This is not like retail. This is an office job. Same people I work with, they I moved on and they're still there. And they got their little dollar here, $2 here, but
What is that?
what is that? I'm like, you can take that stuff and go somewhere else. Now, if you were the Fortune 5 and you got great, amazing benefits, then that's different. That's different. But every situation is different.
Correct.
If you're in a Fortune 5 in a small city, like I'm in Detroit. So since I'm in Detroit, then, uh, it's not a lot of Fortune 5. So if you get in with a good company, stay there. But if you're in New York, North Carolina, LA,
So
some then yeah, you can jump.
that is so, so beautiful. I love the way you articulate that. You must trust yourself to know that you have the ability to accomplish whatever goal that you set forth for you. You building up that trust. You may have a little fear in the beginning. You may have, a little resistance, but you have to work through that resistance. Work
Absolutely.
it's like a space of where it's like a mental tug of war. Hey, should I do
Mhm.
this? But if I do it, I could see results, but I don't know because I never did it before. Trust your intuition and your discernment at the end of the day. That's what you must
Trust
do.
yourself. Look,
Yes.
if you know you ain't shit, if you know you go to work days late a week, if you know you leave early, if you know you don't work hard, and you got a good job, stay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Stay, because you don't go to work, get fired. But you
Yeah.
got to know yourself though.
Yeah.
If you know your value and you know your value is above that space, leave.
Correct.
It'll be all right.
But
It's going to be all right.
when you spend time with yourself, you figure out your self-worth. You see
Yeah.
what you see how the value in you, and you see that you're not going to settle for less, no matter what the position is or what the title is or
Hmm.
whatever feel like whatever bells and trinkets and things of that nature that they trying to throw at you. No, this is what I'm worth, and I'm not settling for less. So I will move on to other territories that can accommodate my worth. I'm not about
Yeah.
to, you know what I'm saying, sell myself short just for this opportunity. Now, sometimes you have to start somewhere. I get that. Just like you said, if they're not giving you no forward movement or no robust promotion at the end of 5 years, then you need to go. I get that. Everybody got their own mindsets, but at the end of the day, do not sell yourself for less than what you are worth, of what you're in possession of your true value that you know that you have. Don't do that. Do
But
not.
be mindful of what you're there for. All right. These are for people who are this conversation is mostly for people who are on a career path. All right.
Mhm.
You're not going to start off in the C suite. You're not going to start off a manager. You're not going to start off, a senior level if you don't know somebody. You want to start off probably at the bottom. Um, Understand at the bottom.
Mhm.
Learn the bottom. Because
Mhm.
one day over time, you will make it to the top, but you have to learn the bottom. So when you're in the bottom and you're growing, understand that this is a phase, right? Where you're at 25, you're not going to be at 30, you're not going to be at 35, you're not going to be at 40. Hopefully. So when you're there at these different levels, pick up the tools that you need to move to the next level. Don't just get to this level and not pick up anything, not learn anything. You have to understand it. Like if you have a job and understand what the level requires. If you even if you're doing something over and over and over, figure out why you're doing it over and over. Besides somebody told you this is your assignment.
Mhm.
At 5 years of doing something over and over and over, you should know how that affects the entire company.
Right.
Not just I sent this report off to my boss and went on about my day. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and if
Checking the
if you've
box.
been there 5 years and you haven't figured out how your job has impacts the entire company, then you gotta step
Do some
back and
Mm-hmm.
reevaluate.
Yep.
Reevaluate yourself. Like, what am I doing? Like, you spend 8 hours at work. That's a third of your day,
Correct.
or 70 to 80% of your life. You
Mm-hmm.
better learn it. You better get good at it. It's not gonna get better. Like,
Correct.
we have vacuum cleaners and microwaves and things at home to make our life easier and more efficient. The same will work. You got to make your work easier. You got to make your work more efficient. You can't do the same thing over and over again.
That's so
You
real.
have to.
Dropping gems out here. And this is gonna be the last point, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Mhm.
Allow your title to dictate your finances. Just because you have this senior level position don't mean you need to have this senior level of spending. Absolutely not. Just because you have this title that dictates that you have leadership abilities within this sector, don't sit up here and put yourself to where you're spending more than you can control. You know
So
what I mean?
I call it the lifestyle. You have a $50,000 income, you live a $50,000 life, you get an $80,000 income, you start living an $80,000 life. So you're making more
Right.
money, you're just as broke. You just have, instead of driving a $200 a month car, now you're driving a $500 a month car.
Correct.
I've had two pay jumps with the same car, purposefully. Purposefully. Just so that extras, but you have to be at a certain level, and I bought my car new so I don't have to replace it.
Right. Put so much maintenance into
There's
it.
so much maintenance in it.
Right.
That's why I buy new cars. I know some people like to use because they depreciate. I get that, but I'm trying to not pay for maintenance because I do not know nothing about a vehicle. So I'm paying for, hopefully the manufacturer made it right. And now that I work in manufacturing, I don't trust nobody's cars.
Right.
I don't trust people. If you see what people do on the line,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't trust people. So
Yeah.
make sure you test drive a car. Please. Please.
Absolutely. That's what's
Some
up.
might not be screwed. Some these are humans, all right? Something might
Yeah.
not be tight, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody missed it. So please always test drive a brand new car because you do not know uh just know a human made it. So it's full of errors.
Correct.
Oh. But
That's real.
with the last point being said about, just how can I say this? I just want people just to understand that, like, yes, everything sounds easy because it's coming out of my mouth, and you say, "Oh well, but this is trial and error, honey. This is time. This is sitting down and being like, I don't like it. I don't like the way I feel, and what can I do to make myself feel better?"
That's the real investment.
Like, and you get that inkling, you get that, you chilling, and you're like, "Oh shit, I don't like something." And some people go drink. Some people go, find their drug of choice to kind of numb the background. But that's something, or people dead scroll, or you watch TV, or you get your smut entertainment, or whatever you do. And we have ways to drown out that noise.
Smut entertainment.
Like the Real Housewives, that's smut to me. That's like, really, like,
Yes.
are they
But
married? But okay, uh, I don't think they're even wives. But um, But you gotta like say, all right, I'm gonna dedicate an hour a week in my head,
mm-hmm.
pen to paper. Cause sometimes when you can think it, but once you write it, it starts really making action. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, you can think
I
it
saw
all
that
day, but
yesterday.
it don't mean nothing to that. For me, because I guess my generation, how we grew up, because we are note takers. My son is a little different. He doesn't. He makes a video or something. I don't know how he does it. But for me, it's like I have to write it down. I have to look at it. I have to read it. And now it's ingrained. It's no longer a thought. Girl, when I die, they're gonna find 50,000 notebooks, all right?
Let me let you know something.
When
Notebook.
you die, like Twitter, just come on, come get my notebooks. Just burn them.
Yeah,
Ain't no but
find
just a
the
whole bunch of
notebook
numbers.
pull.
It was
Yeah.
just a whole bunch. The early ones ain't nothing but me doing my budget before I figured I could do it on the computer.
Right.
Just my
Right.
goals, what I want to do. And then what I love about the notebooks, if you look at the notebooks 2 or 3 years later, that stuff is accomplished.
Yes.
That stuff is accomplished if you look back at them notebooks.
See growth. So
Man,
much.
it makes you feel proud. So then you stop beating up on yourself and you stop telling yourself you can't because you got all this proof that you can.
Yep. Yep. You got all this proof that you can. That's beautiful. I truly appreciate this conversation. I truly appreciate the gems that you have dropped, my dear sister. I appreciate the beautiful, beautiful woman that you have bloomed
Thank
into today,
you.
for
Thank
us
you.
to engage in this session on such a high vibrational level. That's encouragement. That is helping. That is, adding some substance. That is contributing to the unity consciousness out there, because I'm bringing subject matter experts to help us in various arenas of our lives within this dimension in order for us to live our best lives possible. And with that being said, this is their business. This is their arena of operating. So you can reach out to these individuals. So whether
Anytime.
anytime, she has made herself so available, and she's so committed to her craft, to where she will be there for you whenever that question arises, whenever you may sit uncomfortable with not knowing what you want to do with your finances. She is there. She has made herself so accountable to the point to where she will serve you at any capacity within her realm of knowledge and
Yeah.
expertise. And I am truly grateful for you. And I'm gonna let you know something, because I know I've used her. I done called her so many times about one subject. Okay, asking her about,
Girl,
hey, what should I do? This, that, So reach out. These are the resources. Don't feel like there's no resources out there. Don't feel like that you can't ask. Don't be so prideful and so stuck in your ego to where you think you can just do everything on your own, because we all out here teaching each other. That's what this is
it
about.
will be better.
Will
It
be.
will be better.
Absolutely.
You just got to figure out what's stopping you from it being better. Not nothing nobody else did. What's stopping you?
Yep.
If that means a new job, if that means a new skill, that does not mean go to college. That
Right.
means get a skill.
Correct.
You know, figure it out. It's gonna be all right.
Yep. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna
It's
be all.
gonna be all right. It's always all right.
Always, always. And I appreciate that. I want to tell you guys, thank you for coming and joining this space with us. Thank you for sharing your positive wholeness energies with us in order for us to cultivate these types of sessions and conversations and discussions, because they well needed. I know I always learn something, so I hope you guys learn something. Please tune in tomorrow. It's going to be a virtual meditation session, and it's going to be invoked and infused with our mirror meditation. We're going to get into, just beautifully analyzing ourselves from a standpoint of self love. We need to go ahead and infuse ourselves with that. Just give ourselves injections of self love on a consistent basis, so that we can hone into that loyalty for self, that we can trust our decisions, especially when it's moving to our finances, especially when it's moving to us being entrepreneurs, especially when it's moving to us vibrating high. I just appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate you so much for being.
Thank you for having me and allowing me
You
to
are
get
amazing.
some of the stuff I've been fussing at you about.
Yes, absolutely. I appreciate you. You know that I
That
love
I
you
wish
for real.
I was able to. Hopefully, I'm glad. Hopefully, somebody took this and was like, "All right, I got something," or "I'm okay." It's gonna be all right.
Yeah, for sure. I hope so too. Even if we touch one person, that that's
Yes,
that's so satisfying. And there
it's
will
just
be a part two with more elevated financial investments and things of that nature that will be coming. And just make sure you hit that notification bell and that subscribe button, so that you can see the forthcoming content, where it will be a part two for the financials discussion, so we can get ingrained to where we can elevate and catapult to that level, to where we can become our own banks. Listen to. And so y'all take care. Y'all have a wonderful rest of y'all night. Tune into the meditation for tomorrow, and I got some more sessions that's coming up. And just take care of yourself, please. Peace.
Bye. Love you, twin.
Love you too, mamas.
Bye.
Bye.